hello, Stacie Barber. Welcome to Entrepreneur Talks podcast by Women Flix. I'm so grateful for your presence, and I'm sure we're going to be empowering so many women and men as well. This is our purpose. And for beginning, yes, I just said thank you so much. Let you talk. Otherwise, I'm going to be just blah, 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 blah. But here we are.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to continue the conversation and honored to be in this space with you.
Fantastic. And
Mhm.
to start, let me ask you, where are you based? Which country are you?
Yes. So I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, which is in the US. So right on the coast of the South Carolina border. It's really beautiful. It's known as a historic town. So there's lots of great history and just good energy here. But it is hot most of the year, especially in the summer. So at this point in the season, we're all calling in some cool weather. We're ready for a cool down here, but it's a beautiful
Wow,
place.
that's amazing. So most of the year is always hot, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, even in the, yeah, we get some cool days in the winter, but there's, very, very rare do we get snow or anything of that regard. But
Mm,
yeah, people come here for the heat usually to move out of the cold.
that's really good. Fantastic. So as
Mhm.
you know, I'm in London. There is no hot weather right now, but it's no bad. We should be already on very cold and rainy, but it's still good. It's still good. With this thing
Mhm.
about the climate change, everything is changing. So when we're supposed to be hot, it's cold. When it's cold, it's hot. So
Yeah,
that's
my answer is always just have layers, layers in your car, layers in your purse, just have layers all the time.
so true. That's so true. Okay, thank you so much. And so let's start our conversation or the reason we are here for the podcast. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Stacie Barber? What
Yeah.
she
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have been lucky enough in my life to be able to, I feel like, live in a few different worlds and within my own body, gone through different journeys in my life that have opened up a lot of beautiful opportunities for me. So currently, my husband and I co-own a movement studio here in Charleston. It's called the Mindful Body Pilates Studio. And in that space, it's just a beautiful avenue for people to come in to heal their bodies. But we also very much address the health of their mind, their spiritual health, where we really offer that whole gamut of being with the whole person in that space. So that's what I do in person. And then I'm also a mindset and lifestyle coach, and really focusing on, again, like the health of the mind and how it is that we're utilizing the mind to either move us forward or to keep us where we're at. And so I really love going deep with people. That's like my passion, is to be, start the conversation here and then we just dive in. And that's where we start to feel those deep lasting shifts inside of us that will create the change that we're looking for. So I really get super revved up about that. Every time I get off of a coaching call, I'm like, oh yes, more of that, please, universe. Thank you. And it's just my passion to help people to really be able to own their true value, their worth, see their potential, see what's available for them, to work with the mind as a companion versus a foe, to really work side by side to get them to that next level. And so in that regard, I've worked with women and men in a whole different gamut of ways regarding the mind and where they want to go. We can begin around the idea of caring for their health and their body, or we can go, they're looking for work or trying to move past the state of like stagnant boredom in their life and really seeking joy. So really creating this canvas of opportunity for them so that they can move
amazing.
forward.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And there we go. I think one of the main roads or the main places that we need to start to, if we want to improve our lives, is our mind. Our mind needs to have that change, that swift or switch, or not switch, but swift. Yes, because
Yes.
it's very important, because no matter what we want in life,
Mhm.
we need to put it in our minds, and let our minds accept, learn how to do that. And that's powerful. It's
Mhm.
really good. I'm also a mindset coach, so I
Yes.
love that. I love that. Everything you said, you're like, yes, so good to have one like me here.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
Mhm.
And how long you been doing? How long you been coaching in the yoga, the place that you owned?
Yeah. So in my, like I said, so many different lives. In my previous life, I was an occupational therapist at the inpatient rehab hospital here in Charleston. So I did that about 6 years, which was a really beautiful opportunity for me to be able to care for people in a completely different way, but to see again the whole person and really realize, a lot of times people would be coming in for neurologic debilities and different things of that nature. But if we weren't looking at the whole person and really creating an environment of healing and for them, it really wouldn't move them forward in a physical manner for them to be able to actually leave the hospital and live their life fully. So that was a great base for me and really helped me understand the importance of that. So as I was at the hospital, I also started teaching Pilates after I had my first daughter. I was inspired that I did not want to ever tell her that I didn't do something in life just because I didn't take the time to do it. So she and I, like in her first year of life, we would drive about 3.5 hours once a month up to a little town called Wilmington, North Carolina. So I got trained, and that
Oh,
also is beautiful. Yeah, and it's a modality that I've loved forever, and I very much utilize my coaching in my teaching. So to say like how long have I been coaching, I think I've been doing it much longer than I've actually been putting it out as coaching, but I got my coaching certificate about 3 years ago, so that kind of made it final for me. It gave me the piece
yes,
of paper
yes, I
that
do
I need to
understand.
do
Yes,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, but I realize I've been intertwining it into everything that I've done for years. So that feels really empowering and rewarding for me to be able to give back in that
So
way.
this is so amazing, because the way where you coming from, it's
Mhm.
kind of similar to myself. I've been on the healthcare background for the last 12 years, and when people ask me, what you done before, what was your job in a previous life, and I said I used to be a nurse assistant, and I realized that I always loved to care for people, but I realized that I could do more through my work that I do today. I discovered this gift
Mhm.
of building up, helping, supporting women through coaching, through other things that I also do, and I found like I still doing the same thing in a different way.
Yes.
And if I wouldn't be there on the healthcare, I probably wouldn't discover this.
Yes.
It is magical. It is magical to listen to you and feel like, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
I'm coming from
absolutely.
there as well. And
Oh, I
see
love that.
people getting to the hospital and need that because they know, well, they sick, but behind that sickness is someone, the mind. And I help so many people, trust me, Stacie, so
Oh,
many people inside the hospital through the mindset. And I
yes.
didn't know already was doing the work. I was
Oh,
already doing. And I think, wow, this is amazing. And then 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, almost two, then I did my course, like my coaching for mindset. This is magical.
I
I'm so glad,
agree. I
I'm so
agree.
glad to
Yes.
meet you. It's like talking with the
Oh,
mirror. Somehow,
I
something
love that when that happens.
very similar. That's really good. And when it comes to your services, what like to, I presume, to coaching, let's say, what tools do you utilize to create a life that you deeply love, or
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
yourself also?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I do have two daughters now. So I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old daughter. And for me, that has been such an inspiration and a mirror of being really aware and conscious of how is it that I'm spending my days and my time, and what example am I putting forth for them to observe. And something that I've really noticed that is deeply important to me and sets me off on the right foot is whenever it is, ideally in the morning, before they get up, but that doesn't always happen, but creating space for myself. And that can look a million different ways. It can be getting up, sitting up with a cup of coffee, meditating for, 15, 20 minutes before the girls get up. That can mean taking my dog on a walk after I drop them off. That can mean the days that I'm at the studio, leaving 30 minutes to an hour to move my body or to get outside and walk around. It can look a million different ways, but for
Right.
me, just to be able to go like in and
Indeed.
sort of, when you put your AirPods in, the new AirPods, and they sort of make everything around you go, like it goes silent and all you can hear is what's coming through. That's what I feel like I have to do, is sort of turn down the volume of everything out here, because there's obligations and, all these external things that we think that we do need to be doing and think that we need to be doing also. But to come back inside to myself and really think about who's the person I want to be, how do I want to feel, what do I want to dress like, how do I want to be moving throughout my day, what is it that identity that I want to build for myself, and how can I make choices to get closer to that person every moment, and giving myself a little dose of patience and grace when I go off track. And I think that for me, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, being a mother, a wife, all the things, is giving myself some slack when it doesn't look the way that I think it should, and not getting caught. I like to say, like, not running off the road and getting stuck in the ditch, like getting back up on the road. Like, oh, okay, that I didn't get up this morning or whatever, but I am going to make some time in my day to be able to lean in. So I think for me, that is the most important part, creating space, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, definitely. It's very important.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you already heard about this book, but I'm gonna just talk about to it's not advice, it's like give you a, maybe you already read The Miracle Mornings.
Ooh, I have not.
No?
No.
Like
Mm.
Arad, I don't know the surname, but I will send you
Yes, please do.
email,
I would love that.
because you're gonna love this book. It's The
Mhm.
Miracle Mornings. And when you mentioned that you try to take your space in the morning for yourself, or even different times of the day, after reading this book, I'm sure you're going to be more into like empowered. It
Mm.
completely changed me as well. It's like when I'm in change, is adding something else good for myself.
Mm,
And
I
it's
love
so powerful. It's really powerful. But I will make sure I send you the details and you
that.
have a look.
Yes,
This is really, really powerful.
please do. Mm.
I totally agree with you when it comes to that. It's so important. It's essential. I can't live without it. I can't live without that moment for myself, actually.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. And especially if I tend to be, I like to be in community with others. I teach all day, or I'm coaching. So especially the people that are
You,
pouring out, we've got to take time to fill ourselves back up, or we end up, what I have found is when I didn't take that time for myself, I began not enjoying the work that I once loved, or began to somewhat resent it. And that was nothing to do with the work. It had everything to do with me not filling my cup up.
yeah,
So I found that yeah, it's imperative.
yes, yes. And then you feel that way, and then you see the benefits, and you share with your clients, with everyone that touch your life, like pass through you, because that's the way, and it's magical because you know it's gonna work. And
Yes.
so that's why I spoke about the miracle mornings. I'm sure it's
Mm,
gonna
thank
work.
you for that. I'm
You're
excited.
welcome. You're welcome. And when it comes to your business, do you work online as well, or is only like, I mean, I know the coaching is online, right?
Yes, yes.
Face to
Coaching.
face as well.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you're asking through the whole last year and a half.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was very focused on building my presence online for coaching, and then obviously in the studio for the movement. We had to take the studio online for a little while because we had to close the doors, and I realized how much community meant to me in that moment, and how I had been building my coaching business online and not thinking about really bringing that into the personal space and the business that we have here. And so in the last few months, become clear to me that is an avenue that I deeply desire, is to build up the physical community here in Charleston and beyond, to bring the coaching into the physical realm. But yeah, so that is something that I'm hoping to be able to. I'm really diligent right now, thinking about collaborating with other women that are doing very similar work, building this mindset shift for the community, and opportunities for us to be able to get younger girls in there and women to come and be in
Yeah.
communion and circle, and really support that, nurture that, as well as the online presence. So to answer that, I would say a little bit of both is the end goal.
That's really good. And on the way for collaborations, I think thinking about that side, depending your niche, would be good as well to take to schools for young girls to
Mm-hmm.
learn and and to free themselves from this anxiety and all these things that goes around, especially these days with this social media and everything online that you can find. You end up just feeling pressure and
Yes.
depression, and that can be a good way of communities, small communities, helping them just
Mhm.
to relax once a week with them, teaching them meditation.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's powerful. It will be powerful.
Yeah, I agree. And every time I'm speaking about this work or working with a client and they have children, inevitably it will come up. Why is this not taught in schools? Like, why did we not learn about this in one of those elective periods in high school? Like how can we start to bring this into to their experience? Because yes, that is what we find is, looking back, that's when some of these self-sabotaging and really not unhealthy mindset shifts start to come on board, is in those adolescent years, especially for young girls. And so to be able to get into their realm of awareness and show them an opportunity to experience something different would,
Yes.
I think, I agree, really, really important. And I hope that that is something that's established by the time my girls get to that point of life. So that that's something that they
Amen.
can be a part of.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Stacie. So my last question, because otherwise I can stay here forever, but we can't take this too long. But I really love to our conversation. But I
Mhm.
would like you to ask you, how can people connect with you? Because I know you're not on social media. I found like, wow, this is powerful. It's not an easy step,
Mm.
but it's
It
powerful.
was it was terrifying, to be honest with you, because I had I had adopted the notion that the only way that you can build a business is through social media online. And as I was the what was really the turning point for me, it was earlier this year. I watched the documentary, The Social Dilemma. And speaking of that younger population of girls, it was the young girl in that documentary that I like, my heartstrings were just like, she was playing on. I mean, it was like, whoa. And because I saw myself in this little girl, I saw my daughters in this little girl, and the power of influence that had happened to her in the documentary. And I remember sitting there watching it and knowing that I needed to get off of social media, but also terrified because, again, I had adopted the notion that this is not going to work unless. And I had to sit there and really do the work on myself that I would help others and start to question, well, where did this belief come from? Is this actually your belief? Is this a valid belief? And I finally, by the end of the documentary, I took a deep breath and I said, okay, I've got to get off. And so since then, I have not been on. To be completely honest, I haven't missed it once. I'm happier, I'm lighter. So yes, that was a long way to answer your question. That no, I'm no longer on social media. Now the studio still is, but it's a completely different realm. It's not my personal heart coming through that as much. But so good old fashioned email is the best way to find me, or through my website. So it's yes, absolutely. And I will.
And don't worry, because I will make sure your details to get in touch with you, which is your email and your website, will be on the description of the podcast, so everyone can check. I love your website. I already told you, and it's magical. It's just I just like the way it's done, is made.
Oh,
I like the pictures, the design is so beautiful. It makes me feel calm, serene, and like, yes, embrace, like, let's go. And I keep going. It's such an amazing. So well done for whoever done this for you. Well done, great job. And then the content as well, very important and very interesting. Thank you once again.
Thank
I'm
you
so
so
grateful.
much.
I'm so grateful to know you, and I'm sure we're gonna keep in touch. No
Mhm.
matter if it's email or website, I will find you.
Love it. Yes.
You take care, beautiful,
You
and
too.
stay blessed.
Thank you so much. You as
You're
well.
welcome.
Bye-bye.